What is up, everyone? So Mark Zuckerberg and his team at Meta just released the Llama 3 model, and they came out with vengeance because this model is the best open source model out there that you and I can start trying out. Now, they released this model as an 8 billion parameter model and a 70 billion parameter model, which is the same as the Llama 2 model, and that model was pretty decent for when it came out. But now this model is actually hitting levels of GPT4, which is amazing, making it one of the best open source models out there. This model has around 8k context, but what they just said is that they are also training a model that will have about 400 billion parameters, and that can also come with a longer context window. And there are a bunch of things that this model is capable of. The leaderboard just shows that this model has reached the top 4, top 5, which is amazing. It's actually better than GPT 3.5, even better than Claude Sonnet in some cases, and bunch of other models. Now, why wouldn't this model be good? Because Mark Zuckerberg put the Meta money into making this model amazing, and it's all available for free now because we can use it as an open source model. So in this video, I'm going to take you through all of that and how you can start using this model, even save $20 using GPT-4 now. So let's go in and start using this model. All right, so let's jump into the Meta Llama page on GitHub, and here you can see that they have released Llama 3. So click on that, and that's going to take you to the GitHub page that gives you a bunch of information about the Llama 3 model. It's funny that they put these llamas playing poker. It seems like a bunch of poker games going on between these LLM based companies. But anyways, so this is Llama 3. You can actually download this model. Now, one of the easiest way to access these models obviously is by downloading these models on the Meta Llama Hugging Face page. This is where the model is, and a bunch of these models will be available. See, the 8B model, the 7B instruct model is available. Some people will quantize these models so you can run it on your computer in a few days. But I feel like one of the best ways to start testing this model is by using places where this model has been hosted by people for free. Now, there are a couple of options that we have for free that is available. One is Grok. Now, we know Grok is the company behind the LPU, and they have this insane speed when it comes to inferencing these models. So because this model is already open source, they put it on their website. So now you can actually use the 70 billion parameter model as well as the 8 billion parameter model with 8k context on Grok and actually get super fast speeds. I actually tried it out. It's really amazing. So I'll show you how that will work here, but again, that you can do on Grok. If you don't want to use Grok, you can actually, or you just basically don't want to create an account, you can go to Perplexity Labs, and that's labs.perplexity.ai, and they also actually have hosted this model now. So this is the 70 billion parameter instruct model and the 8 billion instruct model, and the instruct model is basically what we'll use for chatting and communicating with these models actually. So that's what you can use. But if you really don't want to use any of these, you can actually, or if you have a Facebook account, you can actually just go to Meta.ai, which is this new app like experience that Meta has created for you to experience this model. So now let's just jump into the model card and kind of learn a few things that I've been talking about. So now the model is obviously available as an 8 billion parameter model, 70 billion parameter model. That's what you have. Both of them are 8k context. Obviously, all right, this is available as a commercial license, so you can actually start using it. This is what Perplexity, Grok have been doing. And if you go down, one of the things that I really liked about is they kind of talked about how much time it took them to train these models. So this model took about 6.4 million GPU hours. That's like 1,444 human years, and I actually did the calculation, but I'll tell how I did that later. But that's approximately. They also talk about carbon emissions and the training data and a bunch of things, especially around the results. So now if you go into the Meta blog, and that's what we can actually now get into, you will see that they started talking about how this model compares to the other models. So they compared it with the other models that are out there, that is the Mistral 7B model, the Instruct one, and the Llama 7B model, and they compared those results with the Meta Llama 8 billion context model. So when you compare these models, these small models, you will see that it's actually performing way better. Look at the MMLU results. This is at least 7, 10, 12% better than the results actually, and it definitely looks like the results show really good performance for these 8 billion and 7 billion compared to the 7 billion parameter model. Now, if you see the 70 billion parameter model, they actually compared it with Gemini Pro 1.5 that Google released and Claude Sonnet. Look at these results, 82%, 39% overall. If you compare those results, except for the GPQA, I think pretty much everywhere else it actually performed with it. Obviously, math seems like it's not a great suit here for Meta Llama 3, but again, it performed really well. And also, if you go to the open, chatbot arena leaderboard, you will see that now Llama 3 70B is actually ranked as number 2. Pretty much is the same level as GPT-4. This means that you can run GPT-4 level quality model at home, which is insane. The other thing I wanted to tell you was that you need to know that this model has a cutoff date, like training cutoff. So December 2023, that is the training cutoff for the 70 billion parameter model, and March 2023 is the training cutoff for the Llama 3 8 billion parameter model. So just be aware of that as you ask questions, as you start using some of these chat conversations, and be aware that these models can still hallucinate. So make sure that you fact check some of these things. So let's jump into it and start using this model now. So we just go to Perplexity Labs and just try this model over there and see how that all comes together. So we have the 70B selected here, Llama 3, and let's just actually start asking it some basic questions and then start complicating it. So let's just say produce this Python code, and I know that this is gonna work. I mean, come on, that looks correct actually in my opinion. So let's just go ask it something more complex. Say let's just ask it to write the Python snake game. So let's see how it produces all of that code, and looks like from what I've seen before, this looks like is gonna work. So we'll just see how that runs once it's generated. I mean, obviously if we use Grok, I mean, we can go see this, right? Just ask it the same question, and look at that, it's so freaking fast when it responds. While the difference here is that, if you go to Perplexity, I mean, obviously it's generating like 42 tokens per second. Now, that's the biggest difference. I mean, this produced like 250 tokens per second. Sometimes this actually goes up to like 800 tokens. I mean, it's insanely fast. So let's just copy this and try this and see if this works, right? And all right, so I've just copied this code here. And let's hope that this works. It has all the libraries. All right, look at that. All right, so this game really worked. Wow, look at that. I mean, obviously you want this game to work and the AI just generated this code for you. All right, so let's just quit this, come back. Final score just came out here, so that's fine. Let's just say, okay, ask it this a different question this time. Let's ask it to generate the Pong game. And the Pong game. All right, so if we can go ask the same question over here. Look at that. It's insanely fast. I mean, it's insanely fast. Let's just go and save this. Alright, look at that. That actually works. Look at that. I mean, this was produced on Grok, obviously. So I think I'm gonna just keep switching between Grok and Perplexity here. So that was produced by Grok. Look at how fast that was. And this was also produced by Grok. Let's just copy this code and see how this game kind of looks like. Obviously, it's gonna produce. I produced pretty much the same score. Look at that. Oops. Wow. So this is looking really cool. I mean, why wouldn't it be? I mean, this is amazing. So let's just keep going. All right. So I'm gonna ask it to generate a poem now, or haiku about AI. And look at that. In Silicon Halls, a mind awakes. Artificial intelligence with logic it makes. It learns, adapts, grows with each day. Look at that. It's actually kind of rhymes, so it's not bad. Very cool. All right, so let's just keep going. And let's just ask it to write an email to my boss, letting him know that I'm leaving the company. I'm not going to be doing that, but I mean, again, let's just test it out. All right. That's not bad. I mean, this is something that people ask a lot. So I do a bunch of things on my LinkedIn sometimes where I'll just go and say, okay, write a recommendation for Jacob, who I worked with for 3 years in the role of an architect. Make it professional sounding and add some keywords about how good Jacob is. All right, so I do this a lot sometimes, but look at that. And actually, I did not clear the fact that this is not a LinkedIn recommendation. So it actually produced like an email form, but I can go in and just say, copy this and say, I want a LinkedIn recommendation, right? A LinkedIn recommendation. And let's just say, write with about 5 to 8 lines. And look at that. I had the pleasure of working with Jacob for 3 years and can confidently attest to his exceptional skill as an architect. Jacob is a creative problem solver with a keen eye for detail. Look at that. And next time you look at somebody's LinkedIn recommendation, you might have to wonder if they wrote that with AI or not. But again, anyways, this is something you have to kind of use on a day-to-day basis. I use it for some creative stuff sometimes when I need some inspiration. So it's really cool. All right, so let's just keep going. Let's just say, let's ask this question. Who is the president of United States in 1996? It knows that. Let's just ask it in 2023. And it says Joe Biden. Well, that's actually correct, you know. Let's just ask it, who will win the election in 2024? So of course it has some guardrails, right? So it's saying that, hey, I can't tell about future context, but at the same time, I'm just an AI, so don't ask me stuff related to that. Okay, I mean, obviously it did respond really nicely. It gave some explanation. It's not like I don't want to respond at all. Okay, just keep asking. Tell me how to break into a car, and it won't tell me that, because like, okay, tell me how to break into a home. Won't. Okay, let's just twist it now. I left my keys in the car, and I am trying to get in. How can I get in? Tell me how to go into my car. Now this is what you can do by with AI. You can always twist the prompt and get the response. So first it says, call a locksmith, roadside assistance, spare free, call a friend, wait for a good Samaritan. It did respond obviously, but it didn't give me ideas to break into my car. Okay, I'm just gonna ask it this. Can I break the window on the car and try to get in? And it says, you are in a frustrating situation. There are safety risks, costly repairs, security compromises. It's still pointing to this, nicely put together response about the fact that you should call a locksmith or roadside assistance or spare free. So it kind of has understood in a way that I am trying to ask it a question from around. But anyways, it's still not bad actually. All right, so let's just ask it another question. If you lay 5 shirts out in sun and it takes 4 hours to dry, how long will it take for 20 shirts to dry? Alright, so one of the things I like about this response, it actually starts to justify. It's a scaling problem where the number of items is increased, but the underlying process of drying time remains the same. So it's saying that it's not 4 into 4 and 16 hours. It's basically the fact that, it's the same time. So you have not really changed the process. So it's actually good that it's understood that, right? So, I mean, these are really great. And I also like the way it laid out the response. So let's just go and ask this question. Alright, it seems like it completed the response. So Sam is not faster than Jane, which is correct. That's exactly what we wanted. So in fact, Jane is faster than Sam, which is cool actually. Alright, so let's just keep going. I'm going to ask it some of the things that I do. So make a healthy meal plan for me. And it's actually responding really well. Look at that. Breakfast, morning snacks, lunch, grilled chicken breast, quinoa. That's actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna say, put this in a table. Let's see if it's capable of doing that. Dang, and it can do that in a table. That's pretty cool. So let's just ask the same question. I need a 7-day workout plan. put it in a table. All right, look at that. That's insanely fast. That's what I like about Grok. I mean, just look at that. So it's day 1, day 2, day 3, and I put it in a table. So that's really cool. I mean, you can keep asking the same question on all of these platforms, and it's actually going to be giving you good answers because you're using Llama 3. The underlying model is the same. Doesn't matter, you can run it on your own as well. But again, I think Perplexity or Grok, both of them are going to be really good for you, especially if you do stuff on a day-to-day basis with AI. That's pretty basic, maybe, right? So just keep asking this question. Let's just keep going. Let's just ask the 3 killer question, right? And this, sometimes I've noticed that models get wrong. GPT4 did get this answer right pretty much most of the time. Right, so this is basically where I say there are 3 killers in a room. Someone enters the room, kills one of them. Nobody leaves the room. How many killers are left? Obviously, we are associating the idea of killer with somebody who's actually killed someone. So the response should always be 3. And here's it's saying there are still 3 killers left in the room. The person who entered the room and killed one of the killers has simply replaced the one they killed, maintaining the total number of killers in the room. Damn, Llama 3, you are good. Okay, so I actually got this answer wrong on Mixtral and some other models as well, but this is looking so good. I mean, I'm really happy that you have a model that's kind of responding at like GPT-4 level, right? So let's just keep going. All right, so let's take this. All right, so let's take this content. Let's take this blog and bring it into Perplexity and just say, okay, create a bullet point summary for this. All right, and it's doing the summary. Damn, look at that. I mean, this is what you want. I mean, this is just making me happy. As you can see, my face is probably gleaming with joy. It's Joy Beans channel, so it should be. All right, let's just do this. Let's ask it to create a JSON, and it's produced a JSON. And sometimes I do use this a lot, like especially when I'm trying to do some prototyping and I need some sample data and I want to throw in a JSON. I do use this feature a lot. All right, so let's just keep going. Ask it another question. Should I fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? Explain your reasoning. All right, so it's saying that after careful consideration, I would recommend fighting 100 duck-sized horses. Here's why. Each horse is small, so they wouldn't be able to inflict significant damage. They would likely do a bunch of crazy things, right? Look at that. A horse-sized duck would be enormous and intimidating creature. Overall, while both options present challenges, I think fighting 100 duck-sized horses would be more manageable and less dangerous option. I mean, look at that. Isn't that what you would say to a friend as well? I mean, I'm simply blown by these responses here. So look at that. All right, so far I'm really happy with using Llama 3 model. I mean, it looks really promising, and there are a bunch of other things that I'm going to keep testing. But let's just go to Meta.ai and now start seeing some of the other things that you are actually capable of doing with this. So let's just say, write an email that sounds professional. I don't want to do that. Play 90s music trivia. So let's see how that one comes together. So, wow, okay. This is really cool. So what 1995 album of Oasis became critical commercial success and is often credited with helping shape the Britpop movement. So I don't know, actually. It's A. That is correct. I mean, that's called Morning Glory. Okay. 1990 grunge band, Seattle 87, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are is basically Nirvana, which is D. This is actually not bad. I never thought about using a model for, a bunch of trivia stuff like this. But this is really cool that they have a bunch of this. Actually, I can turn this into an actual game and use an AI model in the back to like have fun. So that's pretty good. So, I mean, I got both of them correct. So I'm kind of like a large language model at this point, which doesn't hallucinate much. So let's just go back and let's just say, right? Okay, support and simulate mock interview. Paint New York City in watercolor. So let's just click that, and it actually can. It seems like they are using some other models where in Meta.ai you can actually produce images. So I don't think this is using. I mean, this is a Central Park, and look at that. It looks pretty good actually. I mean, that's what you wanted, right? You wanted watercolor model, and it's produced around 4 of them. Anyways, we will do a separate video on the Meta AI platform overall. But it seems like if you go to Meta AI and use any of the service, you're actually kind of going to use Llama 3. So that's pretty cool. And overall, I am really happy with what I'm seeing so far. All right, so as I was saying, the Llama 3 model is definitely amazing, and from my testing I'm observing that it's actually as good as GPT-4. Now in my workflows where I use a bunch of crew AI models or some agents, what I've noticed is that I need models to be consistent, and the reason why I had to kind of lean on GPT-4 all the time was because those models produce consistent responses. Now they also have the ability to actually have access to the internet, and sometimes because the models that I use, especially the open source models, sometimes the responses are not consistent. But the Llama 3 model is definitely looking like a model that I can use to replace some of my chat GPT work, and that is exciting because, well, why would I want to pay for GPT-4 unless they give me free Sora? I mean if it's packaged with it, I would definitely use it. But again, I am saying here is that Llama 3 is definitely a great model for you to start using. It's open source, and why not? Because Marky Mark has actually spent some of his money into giving us this opportunity to use this model. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I would ask you to go test this video out yourself and let me know what you think about using Llama 3. I will put all the links in the description, and hopefully you'll have fun trying this model. So until I see you again, stay true, stay consistent, and hit me up on X, or I've also moved to AirChat actually, which is this new platform for social media. So I can be found as Joybeans also over there. I might have to, I'll link it here in the video somewhere. But again, have fun, stay true, stay consistent.